Right now, from flyovers to tanks to protests, a busy day in D.C. with the highly anticipated and controversial celebration. And a new community movement picking up steam here in Madison, aimed at helping migrant children along the southern border. Plus, on a night full of fireworks, some simple reminders for pet owners.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 10.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us, and happy 4th of July, everyone. There are fireworks shows and services happening right now all across the country, but none were more anticipated or controversial than President Trump's salute to America in the National Mall in Washington today. President Trump became the first president in nearly 70 years to speak at the National Mall on Independence Day. The event featured tanks and military vehicles, flyovers by the Navy's Blue Angels, pageantry, and applause. All branches of the armed forces were on hand and hailed.
Our nation is stronger today than it ever was before.
President Trump's event generated days of advanced criticism from Democrats and others who accused him of politicizing Independence Day.
Dishonors our troops, dishonors our service members and veterans, because it's really all about Trump.
It was marked by protests, including one right in front of the White House. The event still doesn't have a public price tag, but the flyovers alone cost tens of thousands of dollars an hour. In Wisconsin, today's heat and humidity has thousands trying to find a way to cool off, and the Wisconsin Dell says it's trying to capitalize on that. The general manager of Noah's Ark Water Park says they've been planning out this year's 4th since last year, and that they expect to bring in 225,000 visitors over the course of the next 4 days. He says when it comes to this year's 4th of July holiday, it's the fact that it falls on Thursday that has him so excited.
For the park, when July 4th falls on a Thursday, people take a 4-day weekend, so it's great for us. And when the weather is great as it is today, it helps out all the businesses, and the families get to enjoy a full weekend out in the sun.
Whitefield says they're really relying on the weather staying nice this weekend. They're hoping the next 4 days will be the jump start for the rest of the summer. It's not only the Midwest feeling the heat recently. It may be a record-breaking week for the city of Anchorage, Alaska. In the more than 100-year history of the city, it has never reached 90 degrees there. But if the forecast holds up, there are multiple chances for that to happen in the coming days. Let's get a look at our forecast now. Here's Chief Meteorologist Gary Canelti. We're not alone in this heat.
No, that's for sure, but we have more humidity, and that's what we've been dealing with over the last couple of days, and also some thunderstorms. But you can see on Doppler track, most of the storms have been outside of our viewing areas, allowing most of the fireworks displays to go off. One lone thunderstorm moved from northeastern Dane County through central Dodge County up around Beaver Dam. High temperatures today, mid-80s to lower 90s. 91, the high temperature in Janesville and La Crosse. 87 officially in Madison. Right now, temperatures are in the upper 70s to the lower 80s, still 81 in town. With a dew point temperature of 72, it feels like it's about 88 degrees. And by tomorrow morning, temperatures will be in the upper 60s. Look for a little better chance for showers and thunderstorms, especially tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening with a high of 86, but we will see a break in the heat and humidity. That's your News 3 Now First Alert forecast.
All right, Gary, thank you. The Wisconsin Department of Transportation says one person was seriously injured today in a crash on the interstate near DeForest. It happened around 440 near the intersection of Highway V. The DOT says two motorcycles were traveling together when one tried to change lanes and crashed into the other one. Motorcyclists had life-threatening injuries. The other was not hurt. New tonight, moms here in Madison are donating old baby clothes to migrant children in Tucson, Arizona. Gabriela Becerra joins us now with how this project got started. Gabby?
It all started with an email from one college friend to another asking for baby clothes. Maggie Musgrave then reached out to other moms in the community to see if they had any baby clothes. After gaining over 400 pounds of donations, they decided to keep this project going.
I seriously feel like I spend my entire life folding baby clothes now.
Maggie Musgrave is a mom that lives here in Madison.
Yeah, you spend the day like raising your own kid, and then you spend the night helping the children at the border.
When a volunteer at a migrant shelter in Tucson, Arizona reached out asking for clothing donations, she was more than willing to send some.
Thankfully, I had a small mountain of baby clothes already in the basement, and what a great way to get rid of all those baby clothes. because they pile up.
But then she thought, what if the support didn't stop there?
I was expecting the support, but maybe just a bag or two.
She says moms in Madison have donated over 400 pounds of baby clothes.
It does mean a lot to find a dinosaur shirt when you know your kid loves dinosaurs, or a baseball shirt when you know your kid loves baseball.
100 people were dropped off at Casa Alitas this morning, according to volunteer Rachel Cheeseman, a last stop for migrants before meeting their families.
When they get out of ICE detention and they come to us, there are two things that they really, really want in this world, maybe three. They want some food, they want a shower, and they want fresh clothes that don't smell like the time they've spent in ICE.
These are such great clothes.
The moms make sure the clothes are in good condition before donation.
Because you've been in an ICE detention camp, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't have, really great clothes to be wearing. And the Madison community has been awesome at making sure that clothes are really high quality.
Musgrave says being a mom is what sparked her passion in helping the families crossing the border.
Just as people of the world, we need to care about what is happening on our border, because these are humans, these are babies, these are children, and they need our support. We can't just stand by and watch this happen. We all need to step up and do something. And this is a way to do that.
There are 3 ways people in Madison can help their cause. The first, by donating clothes at one of the 3 YMCA branches, donating money to their GoFundMe page, or purchasing items from their Amazon wish list.
All right, Gabrielle, thank you for that information. New tonight, a 44-year-old man died from a lightning strike in South Carolina today. Officials there say the lightning hit a tree near a popular river sandbar and beach area. And people nearby were shocked by the force. Emergency crews took 3 people to the hospital, and as many as a dozen others were hurt. The Madison Fire Department was called to Lake Mendota this afternoon for a report of a capsized boat. Dane County Dispatch says the call came in just after 2 west of Maple Bluff. A Dane County Sheriff's boat was able to get out there and got everybody out of the water. No injuries to report. 3 people are facing charges in a fireworks heist and police chase in southeastern Wisconsin. Investigators say $2,700 worth of fireworks were stolen from Phantom Fireworks in Addison yesterday. According to the Washington County Sheriff's Office, a deputy later found the vehicle and the 3 people, but the driver took off. The chase went for nearly 15 miles until deputies used spike strips. The suspect's vehicle crashed, and eventually all 3 people were taken into custody. In Fort Mill, South Carolina, firefighters had to dodge exploding rockets to douse a fire at a fireworks storage center. Crews spent nearly an hour extinguishing the fire that broke out before dawn. Fire officials couldn't put a dollar value on the fireworks that went off, but said the boxes appeared to be fully loaded. The store's owner is working with investigators to find out what happened. Well, the 4th of July fireworks are fun for us, but not so much for our 4-legged friends. We spoke with a local vet on how you can help keep your pets at ease. Our Keely Arthur has more.
She's a young puppy, so she's still really scared about all the noises.
But nothing seems to scare Carl's dog Xena more than the sounds you'll hear ring out on Independence Day.
The more I expose her to the noise, I think that it'll help her to get acclimated to the sounds of loud noises and tractors and fireworks.
We see a lot of people come in here on emergency with anxiety and stress-induced issues around this time of the year.
Dr. Alicia Sibley of Veterinary Emergency Service in Middleton says unfortunately the issue of anxiety-inducing fireworks for your pets spans far beyond the 4th.
Unfortunately, it's not just limited to one night now. It seems to be like a 2-week event where people are shooting fireworks off each night, so it's unpredictable when they might happen. Your neighbors might shoot them off.
When the fireworks start, you might see your pet shaking, pacing, panting, whining, shutting down emotionally, or trying to hide in a small, dark place, similar to a den or a bathroom. Sibley says she fully expects to see emergency visits tonight because of the noise, but there are some things you can do to help.
There are medications that can help. Also, being with your dog, doing soothing things, or being in the most soundproof room of your house.
If you're outside with your pet, though, tonight, make sure to keep them leashed or they may bolt.
I'm doing my best, but she runs back to the house quite a bit.
Keely Arthur reporting. Down in Florida, inmates in one county jail are comforting local shelter dogs by hanging out with the pups during tonight's celebrations. Looking at some local events today, the Nakoma League's annual bike and stroller parade kicked off at Nakoma Park. Kids biked, some stayed in strollers, to the Kitty Carnival down the street from the Thoreau School parking lot. Kids and their accompanying guardians dressed up in 4th of July gear and made sure their bikes looked festive as well. The Columbus Area Chamber of Commerce set their 4th of July parade's theme to Volunteer America. People dressed up in celebratory outfits for the parade today, showing their support of America's independence. The 1.2-mile parade route started on North Ludington Street and ended at Fireman's Park. The day started with the Firecracker 5-mile run walk, and following the parade, live music and a fireworks show at dusk. And here's another local favorite, the annual Wife Carrying Championships in Monona. About a dozen people took part this year, running over sand and grass, through water hazards, and over other obstacles. The winners get to take home the person's weight in beer and $5 per pound. This year, the course was especially difficult, with lots of rain creating a mud bath worse than years past.
It's a really important race for these people, the people that are participating. They've got to have a lot of trust with each other, because you can fall and knock over and whatnot. So there's some risk involved. So the couples that are coming through, they're really having to trust each other and make sure they're on the same page in order to actually complete the race.
We fell last year right at the end. Plus the course is really muddy this year, so you never know. You can fall at any time, trip, lose your balance.
So there's a chance. Plus the heat, that doesn't help.
Any tips for the other contestants in years to come?
I really want to give that out.
All right.
It's hard to get them both on the same screen there. The bizarre contest has origins in the 19th century, when the area now known as Finland, people who indulged in looting also took part in the questionable practice of abducting local women. This competition tries to recreate the heat of the chase. All right, still ahead on this 4th, your updated full forecast for the rest of the extended holiday weekend. Plus, it is the strongest earthquake to hit Southern California in 2 decades. A look at the damage it caused today. That's coming up next. Welcome back. An earthquake hit Southern California today, the strongest in the area in 20 years. People felt it as far south as Orange County and as far east as Las Vegas. A 6.4 magnitude earthquake's epicenter was in the Mojave Desert, 10 miles northeast of Ridgecrest. That's about 150 miles away from LA. Lights swayed inside the KCBS television studio in Los Angeles. The U.S. Geological Service reported more than 80 aftershocks, and that's counting.
On a geologic time frame, hundreds, thousands of years, an earthquake like this is just one of many, many, many.
People across Southern California captured the shaking on camera and shared pictures on social media. So far, no reports of serious injuries or major damage. And it may be a record-breaking year for one of the country's most well-known geysers. We're just over halfway through 2019, and the Steamboat Geyser at Yellowstone National Park has already erupted 25 times, according to the U.S. Geological Survey. That puts it on track to surpass last year's record of 32 eruptions, which is the largest number ever recorded in a year. The record before that was 29 eruptions in 1964. Walmart's investing over $1 billion into its China business. The retailer is planning to spend the money to boost grocery deliveries. It says it'll invest around $1.2 billion in distribution centers in China over the next 2 decades. And here's some news for car lovers out there. Ford will soon be selling a new supercar that won't be street legal. The company's only selling 45 of the new Ford GT MK2s. The catch? Well, it costs $1.2 million price tag. The car features 700 horsepower, equipped with 2 racing seats, a roll cage, and a performance computer. Gary's new way to get to work in a hurry.
That's not going to replace my minivan. That's for sure.
Gary is here now, the beginning of a long weekend.
Yeah, we've had some thunderstorms around southern Wisconsin, but most of them, I think, have missed the fireworks displays that probably are over with by now. But there are some showers and thunderstorms north of Wisconsin Dells. Looks like basically southern Juneau and Adams counties to around, say, Montello. These are all heading off toward the east-southeast. Occasionally, we'll see a shower or thunderstorm pop up. Looks like a couple right now over Crawford County. And then to the east, we've seen one little shower or thunderstorm that moved from northeastern Dane County over Beaver Dam and now is about to move out of Dodge County. Farther to the west, an area of thunderstorms across Iowa has weakened quite a bit overnight. These storms really tend to die down once they lose the heating of the sun. So as the atmosphere starts to cool down, the severe weather and strong thunderstorm threat diminishes. There's a marginal risk of severe thunderstorms overnight to our north and west. But tomorrow, there's a marginal risk of severe thunderstorms for an isolated strong to severe thunderstorm with high winds and heavy rain, the main threats over much of southern Wisconsin. This as a weak cold front drops southward across the state and eventually will put an end to our heat and humidity. Computer model forecast, you can see just how widely varied the amounts of precipitation are, just like we saw yesterday, with 4 or 5 inches of rain occurring over Sauk County, and then areas down toward Grant County didn't pick up any rain at all. Well, over the next couple of days, we could be looking at generally around 1/4 to 1/2 inch of rain. Some areas, very little rain. Other areas might pick up 1 inch or 2 of rain if you get caught underneath a heavier thunderstorm. Live view from the WISC sky cam. Hey, it looks like somebody setting off some fireworks there. Let's take a look at the almanac for today. High temperature 87 degrees, low temperature 68, and right now we're sitting at 81 degrees. Winds out of the south-southwest at 6 miles per hour. Dew point is at 72. It feels like it's about 88 degrees there when you factor in the humidity. Temperatures right now in the low 80s in southern Wisconsin, generally in the 70s up to the north. There's that front that's triggering the thunderstorms north of the Dells will be kind of stationary, and right along it and to the south of that dew point, temperatures are still into the 70s, and even north of the front, they're in the mid-60s, so the air is not a lot less humid. It'll take a while for the drier air to filter down over the weekend. These clusters of thunderstorms right underneath the jet stream, and that front that I was talking about just kind of sits through here and really doesn't have much strength to move one way or the other because that jet stream is basically paralleling the front. Eventually, as the jet stream becomes a little more westerly with time, it will start pushing this front southward as a cold front. This low pressure system out in Wyoming will move eastward, and that will also help to start pulling the front southward, and that'll happen during the day tomorrow. High temperatures ahead of the front today, upper 80s to lower 90s. Behind the front, 70s, and that's what we have to look forward to for the weekend. Right now, temperatures in the 60s in the Dakotas, still low 80s here with dew point temperatures in the mid-60s as far north as central North Dakota, and in the 70s to our south. But on future track, you can see the thunderstorm chances increasing during the day tomorrow into tomorrow night, and then as those winds shift around to the north, the air starts to dry out, and we look for much drier conditions toward the end of the weekend. 69 for the overnight low temperature, an isolated shower or thunderstorm chance in spots, otherwise patchy fog. Tomorrow, look for a high of 86, another very warm and humid day. Heat index values around 90, but we will see some scattered showers and thunderstorms, especially in the afternoon. Again, the threat for thunderstorms ending overnight, low temperature upper 60s. Then tomorrow, highs in the middle 80s. We'll see the thunderstorm chances develop, especially tomorrow night as that cold front comes through. And then notice that wind shift to the north and northeast. That will start clearing things out later in the day on Saturday after a slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm. Rainfall amounts, again, very widely measured between 1/10 of an inch and over an inch in spots. But the good news is much of next week we'll see comfortable weather, high temperatures between about 80 and 85, but with low humidity. Thunderstorm chances maybe the middle part of the week, but once we're done on Saturday, it looks like a couple of days of dry weather there.
It'd be nice to get rid of the humidity.
It will.
That's the killer of this. All right, Gary, thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, you can't win if you don't score, and the Brewers are living proof of that. The story coming up next in sports.
Brewers manager Craig Counsell says his team can't lose its enthusiasm. Hard to do when you haven't scored a run in their last 23 innings. The Brewers lose 3 of 4 in Cincinnati. Brandon Woodruff, though, has another great start for Milwaukee. Allowed only 1 run in 6 innings, but that first inning RBI infield hit by Yasiel Puig held up as the Brewers offense just couldn't get going again. This is as close as they came to scoring today. Eric Thames hit one to deep right, but it just didn't have enough carry and was just short of tying the game. Final score, Reds 1, Brewers nothing. Cubs won at Pittsburgh 11-3, so it's a tie for first in the Central. The Madison Mallards are 0-2 to start the second half. They're swept in Kokomo today, 4-3. The Mallards play the Wisconsin Woodchucks in Wausau tomorrow. Jalen Johnson announces his decision. He's going to play college basketball at Duke. Johnson, of course, was a star at Sun Prairie, then transferred to Nicolet, leading the Knights to the Division II state championship this year. Johnson is considered to be one of the #1 small-ranked forward recruit in the country and the #4 ranked player overall. Longtime Badger booster Jim Kalsher will be inducted into the UW Athletic Hall of Fame in September. Kalsher is now 90 years old. He founded UW Provisions, one of the largest meat distributors in the Midwest. Badger booster Jim Kalsher going into the UW Athletic Hall of Fame. There's an LPGA golf tournament just outside of Green Bay this week, the Thornberry Creek Classic. Strangely, I had a pair of yellow pants just like that in high school, but it was the 70s. Anyway, last year's winner, Yu Lu of China, is off to an even better start this year. 8 under par, 62, gives her a one-shot lead after the first round. Can you believe it? The Packers' first training camp practice is 3 weeks from today, Thursday, July 25th. It's one thing to run around in helmets and shorts. Training camp is a whole different animal, especially this Packers training camp, because it'll be the first with Matt LaFleur as the Packers head coach. After 11 Mike McCarthy training camps, it'll be interesting to see what this one brings, especially for Aaron Rodgers.
This training camp will be different for all of us, as opposed to the last couple, for me, 13 years, because we actually have a team coming in. And then I would assume, as opposed to years past, I'd probably get a little more work in the preseason. So we need to get some things ironed out before that. I think we still have some things to work through. I think there's some little nuances that we got to keep talking through as far as some of the signals and adjustments and stuff that they'll be important moving into training camp.
Forward Madison FC forward Don Smart is named the USL's midseason most valuable player. Smart has 4 goals and 3 assists for the Flamingos so far this season. And Joey Chestnut won his 12th Nathan's Famous Hot Dog Eating Contest on Coney Island today. Chestnut downed 71 hot dogs and buns in 10 minutes, just 3 short of his record. Miko Sudo won the women's title, eating 31 hot dogs. By the way, 71 hot dogs and buns, 20,500 calories in 10 minutes. And we'll be right back.
Well, another hot day, one more to go.
Yeah, a few thunderstorms out there tonight. Looks like a little narrow line of thunderstorms from north of the Dells over toward Westfield and Princeton. Another cell just to the west of Richland Center. You can see the movement generally to the east at about 30 miles per hour. They are dumping heavy amounts of rain, but in just a short period of time, and then the storms move on. So hopefully that will limit any flooding concerns. Temperatures right now, upper 70s to around 80 degrees. Tomorrow, high of 86 with high humidity. Thunderstorm chances tomorrow, perhaps Saturday afternoon, and then a break for much of next week, except for the middle of the week, maybe a thunderstorm chance, highs in the 80s.
All right, thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your 4th of July holiday. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Good night.